Yes. So, hi everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining today's class. We are into our class number 10, and we have been doing intensive programming on core Java, trying to understand different concepts that we have dealt till date. So, we will be learning about multiple classes again as part of our today's class. So, previously, if you remember, we have discussed a lot on the multiple classes. So, today's class is nothing but a continuation of whatever we have learned in the previous class. And at the same time, we would also be including a few points that we have touched upon in our previous classes also. It's not just yesterday's class continuation, it is something that will remind you about a few other points that we have touched upon in the previous classes. Okay, so without any delay, and one more important thing is today's class is uh today's class is full of programming, full of hands-on coding, and I would not be maybe giving you much of a theory, but let's try to cover programs and try to understand how the things are going. So without any delay, let's start our multiple classes, class number 10. Okay. So I want to write a class, I want to write a class, I want to write a class. So if you see this, so this is Mercy 2025, and in the multiple classes, we have come until this point, we have come until this point where there is this class number 4. So we have on class number 4. So let's try to write a new class, which is class number 5. Okay, Mercy class 5. Okay, so let's do that. We'll go here. I'd like to take the language as Java and say Mercy class. We have come until which class, by the way? 1 second. Till class 4. So let's say class 5. So I just said Mercy class 5, open parenthesis, closed parenthesis, and then inside this, we have public static void main, and in this we have string array of arguments, open parenthesis and close parenthesis. Yes. So this is our Mercy class 5. This is our Mercy class 5, and I want to have Mercy class 6 as well. We are dealing with multiple classes, right? We are dealing with multiple classes, right? So this is Mercy class 6. And inside this, I want to say system dot out dot println. So what do I want to say here? What do I want to say here? It's very simple. I just need to convey myself that I am here from Mercy class 5. So what do I do? Maybe I'd like to say, or before I write any system.out.println statement, the main intention of having this program today is I want to call the main method of Mercy class 6. I want to call the main method of Mercy class 6. Okay, this is what I want to do. How do I do? Yesterday, I think we have seen in our last class, we have seen. So we should say class name dot method name. Okay, because this is a static method. So this is something that we can do, and I'm passing null. Okay, I'm passing null. I'm trying to call the main method of Mercy class 6 from Mercy class 5. So maybe I'd like to add a few system.out.println statements so that I can see the output and guess, okay, fine, this is what I wanted. So let's say system dot out dot println. So what do I want to print? What do I want to print? I want to print, I want to print, I want to print Mercy class 5 main method start, start. Okay, main method start. And at the end of main method, I would like to say main method end. Okay, I'd like to say main method end. And that's it. I don't have anything as part of my Mercy class 6. I don't have anything as part of my Mercy classes, which is fine, because I just want to check if I'm able to call the main method or not. By the way, we have seen this program or similar kind of a program in our previous class also. But for now, let me try to run this, compile this, and try to run and see what happens. I'll say Control S. Okay. So I'm trying to save this in Mercy 2025, multiple classes. I'd like to say .java. I'd like to say .java, Mercy class 5 .java. Yes. So I have done that. So let me go to my command prompt. Let me go to my command prompt. So this is date modified. Okay. Let me go to my command prompt, and I'd like to increase the font as much as possible. And I'd like to say Java C. What is my class name? It is Mercy class 5. Copy and then say .java. So yeah, so we have seen that we are able to compile this Mercy class 5, which is very good, Now I want to run Mercy class 5. What is the command? It is Java Mercy class 5, and I say enter. And when I do this, it is saying Mercy class 5 start and Mercy class 5 end. Mercy class 5 start, Mercy class 5 end. But the point is Mercy class 5 start and Mercy class 5 end. This is fine, sir. The control is coming to my Mercy class 6 or not. How do I confirm? Very simple. It is again using the system.out.println statements. I'd like to say maybe just for my confirmation, if the control came to my Mercy class 6 or not, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add this system.out.println statements and see. So from here, from class number 5, from Mercy class 5, I'm calling the Mercy class 6 main method. Okay, this is fine. I'd like to save this once more. There is no red color over here. It is saved. Let me clear the screen. Or maybe let me compile this once more. Yes, Java C. Yes, I'm able to compile. And now it is Java Mercy class 5. This is the command for running the program. So now we can say Mercy class 5 start, or let me copy this. Let me copy this. And see I'd like to see Mercy class 5 main method start. So this line is getting printed, line number 4. Okay. And then the control is coming from here, from line number 5. The control is coming to the main method of Mercy class 6. Okay. So now what happens is this line gets printed, Mercy class 6 main method start. This line gets printed, Mercy class 6 main method ends. And then the control goes back to the place where it is called. It is called on line number 5. So what is the next line? The next line is line number 6. So line number 6, what is it saying? It is Mercy class 5 main method end. So it is so simple, very easy to understand. So, sir, I want to see this. I want to see this in a pictorial representation. Okay, I want to see this in a pictorial representation. Yes, why not? Let's see that. So I'd like to say draw.io. I told you that this application I'd be using for my teaching purposes. Okay, and let's see. It's going to load. Update available. So I'll just say create a new diagram. Cancel. Create a new diagram. Blank diagram. Create. Yes. So I want to create something. So let's try to take this one. What I told you, this is nothing but stack memory, right? This is nothing but stack memory. Yeah. So this is nothing but stack memory. Very good. Now we have the stack memory over here that is defined. Now, 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 what is happening? What is happening as part of when I run this, when I run this Java Mercy class 5, what is happening is it loads my Mercy class 5. It loads my Mercy class 5. Let me show you how it loads. This is Mercy class 5. Where is my this thing? Yeah, this class is getting loaded. Yeah, this class is getting loaded. So Mercy class 5 is getting loaded, which is fine, which is fine. Now, since I am calling this Mercy class 6 dot main, Mercy class 6 dot main, actually, even before JRE or even before JVM is calling this main method, okay, I am myself as a programmer calling this main method. So Mercy class 6 is also loaded. Mercy class 6 is also loaded. So this is how we have over here. Mercy class 6 is also loaded. So, sir, this is very good. I'm able to understand that in stack, there are two classes and both the classes are getting loaded, which is very fine. But, sir, is there anything, students just try to understand, there are no static variables, there are no static methods other than this main method, right? Other than this main method. So let's try to understand or put that over here. And in this Mercy class 5, instead of writing it over here, I'd like to call it as, maybe I'll just say text. So this is how we can write the text. Yeah, this is Mercy class 5, and I'd like to cut this, and then I'd like to say add text, and this is my text. This says Mercy class 6. Yes. Okay. So what is loaded in this? Only static method is main method. Okay. And then what is loaded in my Mercy class 6? Again, it is a main method. And that's it. We don't have anything else. We don't have anything else. We have only two static methods. And both the static methods are nothing but the main methods. And both the main methods are also loaded. Are also loaded. Very simple. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. Now, I would like to add a little I'd like to add a simple line over here, a simple line over here. So here, what I'm trying to do is, I'm taking this Mercy class 6, I'm calling the main method, right? So instead, I would like to call the Mercy class 5 dot main method from Mercy class 6. Can I do that? Can I do that? Yes, why not? You can do that. Let's see if we can compile this. I just compiled this. No, I just saved this. Let's see if I can compile this with Java C. What is the class name? Mercy class 5. Copy. And then I'd like to say .java. Am I able to do it? There is no compilation error. There is no compilation error. So what did I do as part of this program? From Mercy class 5, I'm calling the Mercy class 6 main method. And from Mercy class 6, I'm calling the Mercy class 5 main method. Am I able to do it? Let's see. Java, then Mercy class 5. Let's see what happens when I say enter. Oh, there's something that's happening. Let me stop this. Let me stop this. I need to use a key called Control C to stop this one. Okay. So I'd like to copy till whatever is there. Okay. Control C is again copy. Let me put in over here. And oh, in less than 1 or 2 seconds, nearly 14,099 or 1499 lines got printed. And what are those lines? What are those lines? Let's try to see. Mercy class 5 main method is started. Mercy class 6 main method is started. Mercy class 5 main method is started. Mercy class 6 main method is started. Class 5 started. Class 6 started. Class 5 started. Class 6 started. Oh, this is going in loop. This is going in loop. This is going in loop. What's happening? What's happening? Why is all this happening? Let's try to understand. Let's try to analyze. Let's try to analyze. Let's try to analyze. So here, when I try to run this main method, the control came to line number 5, and it is trying to call my main method. It is trying to call my main method of Mercy class 6. When the Mercy class 6 is loaded, it is trying to call the Mercy class 5 main method. So the control is coming from line number 13 to line number 3, and from line number 5 to again line number 11. So it is just going here and then, here and there, here and there. Mercy class 5 is calling Mercy class 6, and Mercy class 6 is calling Mercy class 5. And all this is happening indefinitely. there is no exit condition. There is no end condition for all this. There is no end condition for all this. So that is why we have so many lines that got printed. We have so many lines that got printed, which is very bad. In programming, we should avoid this kind of problems. Compiler doesn't have any problem, but runtime has a lot of problems, So I'd like to write one important point in our notes. What is that important point? Which is our first point for our today's class, which is our first point for our today's class. For our today's class, we call it as method calls should avoid what should they avoid? Unconditional recursion. Unconditional recursion. What is recursion? What is recursion? A method calling itself is called as recursion. One method is calling the other, and the other method calling the other method. A method calling itself, or one method calling the other method. So there is no condition for this recursion. Okay, there is no condition for this recursion. Oh, maybe I think I have given you the point number 2 as point number 1. Let me write one more point over here. I'd like to say this is the first point. This is the second point. I'd like to give you the second point one. Okay, method calls should avoid unconditional. So I'd like to say, maybe I'll tell you what is the recursion in our next point. But here what I would like to say is method calls should avoid unconditional calls. So there should be a condition for a method to get exited. So I should something say, okay, you are calling main method Mercy class 5 from Mercy class 6. The main methods are getting called, but there should be a condition. If you call it once, then you stop it. Or maybe if you call it 100 times, then you stop it. This kind of conditions should be there. If those conditions are not there, then ideally what will happen is we will be having this kind of errors. We have seen this. We'll be having this kind of errors where the methods get called themselves and they become loops. Okay, so let me try to write one more class. Let me try to write one more class to actually demonstrate you just a different kind of a flavor of whatever we have seen as part of this exercise. Okay, so I'd like to write a new class which is Mercy. I'd like to say language Java. I'd like to say class 6. I think we have already seen 6, right? We have already seen 6. Okay, let me see it as 7. Mercy class 7. I'd like to open my parentheses, close my curly braces here. I'd like to say public static void main. Okay, void main. So here I'm opening and closing my curly brace, So I'd like to say, let me copy whatever is there over here. Whatever is there over here, I just copied and I'm pasting it over here. Okay, so instead of calling the Mercy class 6 main method, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to call my own class main method. The method calling itself is called as recursion. The main class, I'm calling the same method once more. I'm calling the same method once more. I'd like to see what happens. I'm not calling a new method, new class main method. I'm calling the same class main method. So I'd like to see what happens. I copied my class name. I'd like to say Control S, and I'd like to give this as .java. Okay, .java. Yes, I'm able to have the Mercy class 7 .java, Mercy class 7 .java. So now what I'd like to do is, okay, I'd like to say Java C. What is my class name? It is Mercy class 7 .java. So what is happening? One second. So it says error method main in class cannot be applied to given types. One second. Let me go here. Okay. So public static void main, it should be string array of args, right? It's a small mistake, but it's a very costly mistake. I should say string array of args. String array of args. Okay. I did not give it, and JVM is saying I don't find a main method. So what do I call? I'm saving this. I'm saving this, and let me try to Java C, Mercy class 7 dot Java. There you go. I'm able to compile it properly. Java, Mercy class 7. Let's see what happens. And when I say enter, and I say I'm saving this, right? I say control C. I say control C. So here also there is something that's happening. We are seeing the same method call multiple times. We are seeing the same method call multiple times, which is very bad, which is very bad. So the same thing is something that we have already seen over here. So I'd not like to have anything. I would not like to have anything. I'd like to just say remove this one. I'd like to remove this one. And I would like to remove this one also. I don't want to have any system.out.println statements also. Okay. So let me say I remove this one also. Let's see what happens if I run this. If I run this, let's see what happens if I run this. Okay. So I'd like to say Java C, Mercy class 7, Mercy class 7.java. Yes, it got compiled. So it is Java Mercy class 7. I'd like to say Mercy class 7. Oh, there's something that happened here. Something that happened. What is this? What is this? I go here. There is something called stack overflow error. There is stack overflow error. I copied that and I tried to paste this over here. So what is the stack overflow error saying? Mercy class 7 on line number 4. On line number 4, you have stack overflow error. What is stack, by the way? This is stack. And this is getting overflown. This is getting overflown is what it says. Is what it says. Which means you're calling the same method, again on line number 4, on line number 3, you're calling line number 4, on line number 4, you're calling line number 3. And there is no condition itself. There is no condition itself. And a method calling itself is called as a recursion. And our note says the important point, the line number 2 is the method calls should avoid unconditional recursion. Unconditional recursion, which means if you can, are you allowed, are you not allowed to call a method by itself? Yes, you are allowed. Recursion is a very powerful programming tool or programming paradigm. Okay, but if you misuse it, or if you do not write the code well, then compiler will scold us giving this error, Okay, I would like to copy this and put it in our notes as well. I'd like to put this in our notes as well. Yeah, very simple. Now I'd like to do something else. I'd like to do something else. Something else. What is that? What is that? It's very simple. It's very simple. Now, give me a second. I'd like to go and try to get this one sorted. Just going over here. I save this. Now let me create a new class. 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 What it says is I'd like to say control N. I'd like to say control N. Language Java, say class, Mercy class 8. So Mercy class 8, open, close, curly braces, public, static, void, main. Okay, it is string array of args. Okay. I opened the curly braces and I closed the curly braces. Yes, we are very good till now. Now what happens? Now what happens? So it's the same program. Okay, so let's try to copy and paste something. So what is that? What is that? What is that? I'd like to come here. I would like to come here and say, I'd like to come here and say, our thing is very simple. I'd like to copy this. I would like to copy this and would like to paste it over here. Paste it over here. Paste it over here. So what I would like to do is I'd like to write one more class, which is Mercy class 9. Mercy class 9. Okay, so this is Mercy class 9. And whatever is there over here, I'd like to say Mercy class 9, Mercy class 9, Mercy class 9. I would not like to have this one, okay, because it gives me Stack Overflow error that we have already seen, that we have already seen, that we have already seen. Now, what I would like to do is, I would like to have a static block. So let me copy this and paste it over here, paste it over here, paste it over here. Okay, very simple. So I'd like to now have a static block. I say static. Okay, when I say static, open, open, and close braces. Okay, so what do I want to have in my static block? I'd like to say something like this. I'd like to say something like this, something like this. Mercy class 8 static block. Static block maybe 1. So I'd like to say maybe static block 1. Okay, I have only one static block, that is fine, but I'd like to say it as static block. So let me try to compile this. This we have already seen. We have one static block only, and we would like to actually play around with this one, right? So I'd like to compile this Java C. Java C. So it is again, I'd like to say Mercy class 8 dot Java. So when I do this, oh, did we save this by the way? We did not save this. Okay, let's save this one. So Control C, which is for copying my class name. Control S, I'm trying to save this. I'd like to say dot Java class 8 dot Java. So let's try to compile this now. Now we don't have any compilation problem. Let's try to run this Java class name. So wait a second. Did we run this? Mercy class 8. Okay. This is something that we shouldn't do. I should call the Mercy class 9. Again, I did the same mistake. So this is something that needs to be avoided. As I told previously, I'm trying to call the Mercy class 9 main method. I'm trying to call the Mercy class 9 main method. So let's go here and like to here. I'd like to say Java C Mercy class 9 dot Java. So when I do this, I'd like to say what happened. 1 second. This is Mercy class 8. This is something that we have to see. Java C Mercy class 8 dot Java. Yes, we don't have any problem. Now let's run this Java Mercy class 8. When I do this, yes. So this is the output that I got finally. This is the output that I got. Let me copy the output. So this is how my output looks. So before anything, I'm calling my static block. SIB1. Okay, static block 1. And then again, it's the same program. Mercy class 8 main method is starting. Now the control goes to Mercy class 9. It starts, it ends, and then it goes back to the caller who is calling this main method. The Mercy class 8 main method is getting called, and now this line Mercy class 8 main method, and that is that is printed over here. It's very simple, very simple. So, sir, what extra did we add as part of this code? We just have added one static block. So what might have happened? What might have happened? What might have happened in our diagram? In our diagram, so this is Mercy class 8 and 9, right? This is Mercy class 8, and this is Mercy class 9. Okay, so we have Mercy class 8 and Mercy class 9. So what is there in this Mercy class 8 along with this main method? We have we have we have static we have a static block as well. We have a static block as well. Very simple. Very simple, very simple. So before even the main method gets called, the static block gets executed, that we have already seen in our previous class. So, sir, why are you telling this? Why are you telling this? Maybe I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. So let's try to write one important point over here. What is that? What is that? What is that? The important point to be noted is before even writing that, I'd like to add a little bit other complexity of to my Mercy class 8 as well. So I'd like to add one more static block. And it says static block 2. So it says static block 2. It says static block 2. The only thing or only change that I did is I've added one more static block, right? So let me go and compile this once more. Java C, Mercy class 8. Okay, Java Mercy class 8. So what happened? So both the static blocks are getting printed first, and rest of the program flow is exactly the same. So what is the point that I would like to write over here is here is more than this. We have already seen more than one SIB can be present a class. SIBs can be present in a class. Now, another important point is this is happening at the start of the class, right? The execution of a static block is happening. This is the first statement that gets happened. But let's say instead of putting over here, if I put it over here, instead of just having the static block on line number 7, if I have it on line number 12, what happens? Let's try to see. I just modified this program. I saved this. I'd like to see what is the output. So I compiled the Java class once more. Yes, let me try to run Java. Now, if you see, even though I changed my sequence, the lines are getting printed on the same sequence, block 1 and block 2, block 2. Even though I changed my static block placement in my Java code, those are getting printed at the start or the beginning of main method only. So, I'd like to write even if SIB is present in middle a class, the execution of SIB happens from top to bottom before the main method. So even before calling the main method, even before the main method gets called from JVM, right? SIBs are executed from top to bottom. So which means even after I write my static block after my main method, that is fine. There is no problem whatsoever. But this gets printed at the top only. The same thing that we have seen. Even after changing the sequence, we are able to see the static block 1 and 2. What change might have happened to our diagram? It's nothing but again one more static block. Okay, I'd like to say static block 1. This is static block 2. Very simple. Now we have static block 1 and static block 2. That's it. We don't have anything else. We don't have anything else. Now, sir, what extra are we learning as part of our today's class? I think we have seen this as a part of our learning in the static block, but we have seen that as part of our uh, okay, we have seen that as part of uh, our learning in static blocks before we got introduced to multiple classes. What I would like to teach over here is, even though you have multiple classes in your context, the rules for static initialization block would remain the same, So I have done all these things in a sequence till now to get you or to make you understand a one particular point, which I'd be teaching right now, So here, what I'd like to do is I'd like to write one static block. I'd like to write one static block. I'd like to write one static block. Yes, what is this? Mercy class 9 static block, right? Mercy class 9 static block. Okay, so let's try to now run this because we have we have added one extra static block in Mercy class 9. Let's see what or how the output changes. Let's see how the output changes. It is Java 8 Mercy class 8 dot Java. So Java Mercy class 8. You can see this static block 1, or even just for my understanding, I'd like to change static block. Mercy class is static block 1, right? Okay, this is Mercy class, which is very good. Mercy class 8 static block 1, Mercy class 8 static block 2, and then the main method is getting called for Mercy class 8. Now Mercy class 9 static block is getting called, and again, all this is the same story. All this is the same story, which is very good. We have just introduced one extra static block to Mercy class 9. Mercy class 9. I would like to I would like to I would like to call the main method. I would like to call the main method instead of calling it once. Maybe I'd like to call it as twice. Okay. I'd like to call it twice. Instead of calling only once, I'm calling it two times. What I'd like to do is I'd like to copy this output. I'd like to copy this output. Okay. So let me save this. And I would like to compile this once more and run this. So now again I got some output. Let's try to see how different the previous output is in comparison to the current output. Okay, so now Mercy class 8 static block 1. This is the same. Okay, this is the same. So we have two counts, two matches on the line number 1 and line number 2. So now static block 2. Okay, so if I count, there are two matches over here again. Now the main method is starting. When I say count, again there are two matches, which means both are same. Now I'd like to go to my line number 12 and I'd like to count it again. Again there are two matches, which is again till here the output is the same. Now let's go to this one. I'd like to count it. There are three matches. Why there are three matches? Maybe I'd like to mark all. So you can see this. Class 9 main method start. Why is it getting two times? The new output? The reason is maybe I'd like to go over here. The reason why we are getting that two times is we are calling it two times, right? So that's fine, sir. We are calling it two times. So we are having multiple occurrences of the same. But why not? We have this line second time. Why did we not have this line second time? Right? Because this is having two occurrences, which I'm able to see it visually over here. Right? Class 9 main method start, and then class 9 main method end, class 9 main method end. So, but we have this one, static block 1 only once, right? Mercy class 9 static block 1 is coming as only once, right? Only once. Why are we having it only once? Why are we having it only once? If you have the answer with you, which is very good, why are we having this only once? Because we have already seen one rule, right? What is that rule? What is that rule? We have already learned about this rule. We have already learned about this rule in our previous classes. In our previous classes. In our previous classes. What is that rule? Very simple. SIB, SIB are SIBs are executed only once at the time of class loading. That's it. Okay. So SIBs are executed only once at the time of class loading. We have seen this previously. So that is why this line Mercy class 9 is getting called or getting printed only once, even when you call the main method of this class two times, because the class is already loaded by that time, right? So if I go here, it is getting called only once. So if I just say count, if I just say count, if I just say count, let me clear all the marks. So clear all marks. If I see the count, I'd like to say mark all. So we have output on, this is the previous output and this is the next output. The occurrence is the same. Previously, when we had only one call, which means previously, previously, previously we had only one call, line number 9, even though this got printed only once. So let's say we have two calls now. Even in that case, we have this printed only once. Sir, I'd like to call this even more times. I'd like to call this even more times. Let's say I'm calling it 6 times. I'm calling it 6 times. What will happen? What will happen? The rule says SIBs are executed only once at the time of class loading. So even though you call the main method 6 times, this should get printed only once. This should get printed only once. Let's try to understand if that actually working, is the rule really valid or not, and then we can wrap up for today's class. So Java C, Java C. So it is my class 8, copy, and then .java. So when you do this, you don't have any compilation problem. Java, Mercy class 8. Yes, there is some output. There is some output. I will copy this output and I'd like to take a new file and try to see if this is getting called only once or not. What is that? The Mercy class 9 static block. Copy. I'd like to say count. There is only one match. There is only one match. I'd like to mark it. So you can see this, it is getting called only once, even though you call the main method how many times? How many times? Even though you call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even though you call it 6 times, the static block is getting executed only once. Only once. So what I wanted to tell you or emphasize is previously we have learned these rules in the context of a single class. Now these are valid even for the multiple classes, even for multiple classes. By the way, these are very, very important basics. These are very, very important basics. Only when you get all these basics thoroughly, only when you get all these basics understood thoroughly, you'd be in a position to understand complex topics like oops, inheritance, or some other topics like array list or stacks or some other queues or some other topics like threads in a sophisticated way. Like you can easily understand them only when you have all these basics right. Okay. So with this,